Let's see. I actually have. All right, I'll start talking about it because it's the first thing that popped in my head. George Lucas and Star Wars: The Prequel Trilogy.
Oh boy.
This, I mean, first off, let's be honest with each other for a second. Star Wars, like George Lucas was a phenomenal director in the 70s. This is 1999 to 2005. He might have been the worst director. The fact that he took on to do this stuff on his own is ridiculous. I cannot believe on my own merit that George Lucas directed just terrible film. Like the best one of the three is Revenge of the Sith. It's easily the best one.
And that's not like even I don't think Revenge of the Sith is good.
Right.
But compared to the other two, it's a freaking masterpiece.
There is literally for those of you who've never seen Star Wars, get on it. I mean, you can watch all 9, whatever you want to do. But like episode 2, there's literally a line in the movie that says, "I like sand." Like there's
I don't like
a line.
sand. Do you like sand?
No, actually I hate sand. But like there's literally a line in the movie that actually has like I hate sand or I'm like, this is Star Wars. Good God. You're gonna talk about like sand or
Sand, the movie.
Sand or Dune. Oh wait, we can talk about Dune actually. But like, I don't know, this movie just is like so it's just ridiculous to me personally. I don't know how the hell they do like his mindset was like the actual stories of the prequels are pretty good, but the execution of it's so poor, and it just shows how George Lucas was at the time.
Because you know what the thing is, it's like of the 3 movies, what you said about Revenge of the Sith, I wouldn't even say it's good. Like, it's okay. It's better than the other 2, but in all honesty, that's really not saying much.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's really not saying much. Like, it has some good parts in it. Like, the Opera House scene is really good. The Opera House scene is actually really good.
Yeah.
When he's telling him the story of Dark Plagueis the Wise, I think that's a pretty chilling scene.
Oh yeah, and the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker is pretty good.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like, okay, everyone says Phantom Menace is like the worst thing ever, and do I think it's good? No, but do I think it's the worst thing ever? Nah. But
there's better, worse things.
Between like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, at least Phantom Menace is entertainingly bad.
Exactly. And
at least you can laugh at how bad it is.
Yeah.
At least you can, laugh at how bad it is. Revenge of the Attack of the Clones is just boring.
I like sand. Come on, guys.
I like sand.
Who doesn't like sand?
I'm not a fan of it. But it's just, at least you can. But like the thing is with like the Phantom Menace, did you know George Lucas actually wrote scenes on the way to filming?
That's really bad.
George Lucas.
I know that's, and then I actually did you hear this? I heard a story once that he was on set of one of the 3 films. He's not sure which one it was, and he's like, this is his directing style. Do it again, but do it better. That's literally all he said. He was just so quiet about it. He's like, yeah, do it again, but do it better.
Hey, but you know what the big thing is, and I can't believe I'm saying this about George Lucas.
What? And
he had too many yes men.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Yo, you agree with me on this one?
I do, 100%. He had so many yes men surrounding him. Like, oh yes, King George, yes, George. I've heard this.
Yes, George. Whatever you want, George. People would just tell him, like, yeah, that's a good idea. Nobody. Do you think anyone really had the what's to think? Guys, could somebody tell George this is a bad idea?
I'm sure if they did,
no. If we do, we don't. If we tell him it's bad, we don't get paid.
like Kathleen Kennedy or Frank Marshall was probably like, oh yeah, totally. And then they were just saying yes, yes, yes. And even though they were going, no, 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 these are bad.
And they're like, guys, shouldn't we tell George Lucas he's doing it, that this is not good? And they're like, we tell him we don't get paid. But you know what? It's like, and you know what? And the thing is that we talked about this before is that the Phantom Menace invented a term known as Phantom Menacing.
Yeah.
Which is because if you look at the reviews, at the early reviews of this, people liked it. And like, listen, I know people today who actually like the prequels. And listen, if you like the prequels, you know, that's you. If you like it, good for you. And I just want to say, we didn't specify this earlier. If you like any of the movies we're talking about,
yeah,
fine, go ahead. You know, like we always say, art is subjective. Film is subjective.
Yeah, it's all subjective, guys. There's no right or wrong answers.
We might not like these movies, but if you like them, go ahead, like them. It doesn't mean you're stupid. Doesn't mean you're a horrible person.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, like next week when we talk about good movies made by bad directors, if you don't like any of those films, go ahead, don't like them.
Exactly.
But anyway, when the reviews came out, the late Roger Ebert gave the Phantom Menace like 3 stars.
Out of 4?
Yeah, I think like 3 out of 4.
Wow.
Like because this was the first Star Wars movie in like over 15 years.
Yeah, since 1983.
I remember, I think it was about 5 when this came out. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, like, oh my God, it's another Star Wars movie.
So I think people were just so buried in nostalgia.
They probably brushed over a lot of it, yeah.
They're like, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. And they finally realize, no pun intended, the Emperor has no clothes. Yeah. And yeah, but you know what? Like really bad. Like I said, I think Attack of the Clones is the worst of the 3.
Oh yeah, and, I agree.
And you know how bad it is? I just brought up Roger Ebert. That was Attack of the Clones was the only Star Wars movie that Roger Ebert gave a negative review to. That was the only Star Wars movie he gave a negative review to.
Really? Wow.
So what does that tell you?
That tells you how bad it is.
And like I said, Revenge of the Sith, it's by these standards, it's good. It's the best of the 3. But again, compared to the other 2, that's really not saying much.
No, of course not.
These 2 make Revenge of the Sith look like The Godfather. So,
yeah.
Or these 2 make Revenge of the Sith look like The Empire Strikes Back. So I would not.
Yeah.
I would. When people say Revenge of the Sith is the best of the 3, take that with a grain of salt.
Totally.
Take it with a grain of salt. Anything else you got to say about the prequels?
That's all I got. Other than just like they were. There's redeeming qualities about some of them, but like if you take them as a whole, they're just not that good. They're not as good. They're not good Star Wars films. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, guys, the story is there, but George Lucas was surrounded by so many yes men. Yeah, yes, George. Yes, George. Like it was left and right. It's crazy. So
yes, George. Whatever you say, George.
Like literally, and that is not a slur to George Lucas. George Lucas, I respect the living hell out of you. I've always said George Lucas is one of these guys who can create worlds with just his imagination. Like
and JT has a shrine of him in his bedroom.
I really don't, but like,
nah, he doesn't. I'm just kidding.
But George Lucas, you know, you are an incredible creative genius. You've created Pixar, you created Lucasfilm, you created Star Wars, the Indiana Jones franchise. Well, I got that in a little bit, but like, you know, like the guy has such a creative mindset. You don't really see that a lot over the past like 40 years. You know, he was a pioneer of like filmmaking. So a lot of stuff. So I love you, George, but you definitely botched this one. So
You screwed the pooch, George.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He was like he was a great director. He directed the very first Star Wars movie, which is my favorite Star Wars movie. And on top of that, not only that, he directed American Graffiti. You know, these are other films that he actually he directed really, really well. But that time passed pretty quick. So it's unfortunate, but whatever.